This is Dudes Who Bet Sports. Dudes Who Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dudes Who Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dudes Who Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holzman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dudes Who Bet Sports Show for another Thursday edition of the show. We got a lot of picks to get to, a lot going on. But I think Jason asked the most important question, Papa Dude. Did anyone else have ice cream with their lunch today? Papa Dude, did you?
No, I did not, Jason. Did you, Aaron?
No, I didn't.
I had some cookies.
I didn't have anything. What the hell? Jesse said, "Is a beer better, Jason?" Yeah, maybe it is Thursday.
No, not during the day for me. I get heartburn.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
you were going to say that.
Yeah, I'm pretty clean when it comes to that.
He's clean living over there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, listen, we got a big show. But this is our sports show, as everybody knows. But we are a horse racing website, and the Breeders' Cup pre-entries have come out, and it's such a big deal. Even Papa Dude has been taking a look at it. So
I have.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of kick off the show with some Breeders' Cup talk because everybody seems to be extremely, extremely excited about it. There were three divisions we kind of honed in on that you wanted to talk about. We'll start with the sprint. You've looked at the pre-entries. Kind of what were your first thoughts about the sprint?
I think it's a two-horse race, probably.
Between the two jacks, you think?
Yeah, probably. I mean, sometimes when those things you think is going to take place, somebody slips up there. This is the swan song for one of my favorites of all time, Jackie's Warrior. So sentimentally, I sure hope he can win it. But you know what? There is no sentimental in horse racing. We've seen it too many times. I'm probably going to have to go with Jack Christopher. I don't like the way Jackie ran the last time. Yeah. So, and Jackie's getting a little age. I think Jack Christopher is younger, right?
Yep.
So, but that should be a good one. This Kamari, that's a good horse too. Mm-hmm. So, I don't think Gunite will run in this. Do you?
Mile for Gunite. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think Gunite might be the next Jackie's Warrior. Got a possibility.
I don't know that he's that level, but boy, he does look good right now, doesn't he?
He's young, Yeah. He's 3. So, yeah. If you'll remember, Jackie didn't turn into a big time sprinter till she was 4, or he was 4, right?
Well, no, but late 3-year-old season.
Okay.
Yeah. The Saratoga season in August is when he really got going. But I mean, later into the 3-year-old year, kind of like Gunite. I mean, Saratoga really is where he blossomed. He got beat by Jack Christopher, but ran very well. He's won 2 since. So they're similar in that regard for sure. Yeah. Both grade 1 winners as 2-year-olds as well. You know, the thing about the sprint before we move on that I kind of just the first take that when I looked at it, usually gate to wire horses do not win the sprint, but this year there's not a ton of other speed signed on.
Right.
It looks like Jackie's Warrior might get out there by himself on the front end. That could be very, very dangerous. What did you think about that? For a sprint, there doesn't look to be a ton of early speed, does
there? I hope it happens. I do. I'd love to see this horse go out on top. Mentioning Gunite or however you pronounce it, I think it's really interesting. He's coming back on 2 weeks. And, he just won last Saturday? Mm-hmm. And now he's coming back 2 weeks rest. Don't see that very often with these up-and-coming 3-year-olds. So Asmussen must figure this horse is the real deal, I guess. Do you think maybe he might not bring him? It's a possibility.
No, I think he's going to. I think Gunite will be in the dirt mile, and I think another horse that he's going to bring back on 2 weeks rest, it sounds like at least, is Wicked Halo for the filly and mare sprint.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, right on the same day as Gunite, as you know, and both looked good over that track. And kind of the thought process, I think, for Asmussen is that was kind of a test run. Let's see how they like Keeneland. Let's see how they perform. Are they in the type of form we think they're in? And if they are, let's take a swing at it. So
no question what he does. You just don't. This guy is one of the best. And If he thinks they can run, he runs them. He doesn't baby them. So if he thinks they're ready and they're fit, he's going to try them.
We'll talk about another Asmussen runner here in a second, but let's move on to the distaff real quick before we go to the Classic. The distaff does feature that Todd Pletcher, showdown between Malathot and of course Nest. But I guess Asmussen's got one in here too, in Clairiere that's had some big wins.
Yep.
When you look at the distaff, short field, but what do you think of it overall?
If you can get Nest at 2-1, you better bet every dime you got. That's what I think. No way that horse is going to be 2-1. Do you think?
No, I wouldn't think, but that's right now. That's kind of, you see that estimated odd, around. Who knows what the reality of that's going to be? Yeah. But I've seen 9-5, 2-1 types.
I think we are looking 4-5, maybe on Nest. Malathot's going to take some money though.
Yeah,
but Clairiere could come up there and steal that. That's one of those horses. I tell you that just when you think she's done, she comes up and bites you. She is one tough customer. So I give her a shot, but from what I've seen out of Nest, I don't think there's anybody better.
One horse I want to ask you about, because you and I were together, and this is another Asmussen horse that I'd almost forgotten about until she pre-entered here.
Yeah,
we were together when Society won last time out in the Cotillion. Right. Yeah, I remember there was a big gate to wire win in the Cotillion, and you were pretty bullish on saying, yeah, she got alone, but she got alone because she was just way faster than everybody else.
Yes.
What do you think? Can she be that in this race?
Well, I'm going to have to see it. This is such a better quality horse we're going.
Yeah, and Kevin chimes in right when I ask. And he thinks maybe Society can take it.
I remember that day. Where was that at? Where did she run that day?
We were on our way to OU, and it was at Parks, the race before the Pennsylvania Derby.
And remember, we were talking. We thought this horse had a chance, or at least I did. Yeah. And man, she was great that day. You're right. I totally forgot all about that horse. Yeah. I think it's more of an up and comer, maybe. You got to use her on your tickets, though. That's for sure. She looked great that day, and he loved her too. He was excited about her.
He was smiling from ear to ear. We were watching him after the race, and that's one that, like I said, it really just kind of stuck out at me because we were together, and we were like, damn, that I don't care that the track was speed bias that day. That was really impressive.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, she's, like I said, I think you describe her best. She's an up-and-comer that you're definitely going to have to keep an eye on. He
might be one of those. You know how he is, and you and I follow him closer than anybody probably. His 4-year-old horses run so well, She might be one of those that has a fantastic 4-year-old season. I can see maybe running really well in this and maybe not quite getting there, and to be the star of the older females next year.
I could really see that being the case. Yeah, because you look at these older, the potential older females. I have no idea what Nest is going to do after this race. If she comes back, she obviously is going to be pretty darn tough. But past that, your other older horses aren't great.
Right.
Society is the best of the rest of the 3-year-old class, at least right now. So I think you're right. This is also a horse that can sprint if they ask her to do that as well. So a lot of options for her. I think that's going to be kind of a fun one to follow.
An interesting question to bring up, I think, or I'd like to talk about in a minute is, let's say you're an owner of a champion female like this. It doesn't really make sense to me to retire her at 3.
Yeah.
Because she can only have one colt a year.
Yeah.
You don't make any money out of a female in the breeding shed. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, you do, but it's substantially lower than.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, wouldn't you run her as a 4-year-old and make more money on her there?
Yes.
Than you do on that lone foal that she has.
Yeah.
So I would think if she's healthy, they run her again as a 4-year-old. I sure would if I was the owner of that.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit more patient with fillies when it comes to the breeding, or mares when you come to the breeding shed. I mean, you can make a lot of money off of them, but it's fewer and further between. But it's obvious, like you can breed a horse 100 times.
Yes, right.
This one, it's one every year is what you're going to get out of her.
To me, if this horse is healthy and running at full tilt, and I'm the owner, and I love to watch her run, she's running as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think I think she will. I haven't heard anything one way or another, though. You never know. All right, let's move on to the Classic, and then we'll go on to our sports picks. The Classic, again, another field that's going to be one of the shorter ones, but you kind of see why with Flightline entered. I know I introduced you to Timeform maybe a year and a half ago. I can't remember, 2 years maybe. A 151 Timeform is something I certainly never thought I would see. Isn't that weird to see that page and be like, unbelievable?
Oh, I know. You've into this much more in depth than I am. Is this the best field ever? At the top, especially? Don't we have about as good a quality top 4 horses as we've had in a while?
It's funny you mentioned that because I went back and looked at last year as I'm trying to get away from the blinds here. As I looked at last year's field, the winner of the race ran like which was Nick's Go, ran like a 132 Timeform. Almost every horse in this race has had a better number than that. I think this Classic is much, much better than what we saw last year as a whole.
Yeah.
You've got stars in this year's Classic, without any doubt. Led by Flightline, yes, for sure. He is a massive superstar. But guys like Epicenter has had a fantastic year. Cyberknife is not going to be in the race, but if he was, he's had a great year. Happy Saver usually is a board hitter. Hot Rod Charlie was 4th in this race last year. Life is Good is a shoe-in horse of the year winner if he wins this race.
No doubt.
Olympiad has lost once and is a shoe-in horse of the year winner if he wins this race. Rich Strike, one of the most famous Derby winners, whether it be good or bad ever. And Taba, a horse that has a world of potential. This is a stellar group.
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at Epicenter. Could have easily won the Triple Crown.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, I'm not going to go that far, but easily could have a Derby or Preakness on the resume, if not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, this horse is super.
Mm-hmm.
Just had bad luck. Just some bad luck.
Yeah. To touch on Epicenter, he is literally, you know, and again, he didn't win, so it's not, I'm not making excuses for him, but he is literally like a couple of real funky upsets away.
Yeah.
Almost being, you know, with 1 or 2 losses on the resume.
Yeah, what I meant was he's Triple Crown quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's running great right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got this freak in Flightline. And then if you'll remember, as a 3-year-old, Life is Good was on the trail to becoming one of the best ever.
Yep.
And now has come back and just run really well. Almost every time he goes out there, he runs good. And then Taba was fantastic the last time he ran. So
I want people to think about last year with Life is Good. Everybody was like, I wish he would go to the Classic. I think he's a main contender, a strong contender. He's going to win the Classic, or, you know, he'll be right up there with a chance. Here he is in this year's Classic. And most people don't think he's going to hit the board.
I don't know
so
how.
What does that tell you, though, about the strength of this Classic?
Well, look at him. He's 5-1.
Yeah,
he's 5-1 on this early line.
Right, estimated right now. Yeah,
yeah, and Epicenter 6-1.
I know. Yeah.
So, fill me in again. You've told me many times, but I get all confused. I'm getting old. What's Flightline's story? Why is this horse suddenly come out of nowhere? Now he's thrown, right?
Yeah, So what Flightline is? It was $1 million purchase. They got him to the races like mid-April as a 3-year-old. He ran once. Everybody went nuts. We didn't see him again until September. Okay. He had some problems. They couldn't get him back. Ran in September. Ran so well. They're like, they have to go to the Breeders' Cup with him last year at Del Mar. He's so good. Couldn't quite get him there. Didn't rush him. Ran him in December in the Malibu. Then all the way to June 11th before we saw him again of this year, and then the Pacific Classic, and now here. So he's had some issues. He's only had 5 starts.
And it sounded like he was a late bloomer anyway. No 2-year-old campaign, right?
Right.
So he's had issues, but when he's healthy, he's a freak.
Yeah,
so
correct.
Looking forward to it. This will be something to see, I think.
Yeah, I agree. How has the Travers winner performed in the Classic? Arrogant was able to win the Travers and the Classic in recent times. I can't remember Of course, American Pharoah won, but he did not win the Travers. I don't think there's been another winner of the Travers that went on to win this race in recent memory. But Arrogate did do it. He beat California Chrome after setting that record in the Travers. He was fantastic. So, Epicenter, it's going to be interesting to see if he can match up. It's not going to be easy. That's for sure. But listen, you said it after the Pacific Classic. You said, look, Flightline's going to have to face better horses in the Classic. Those were not good horses. And I said, well, what about Country Grammar? He said, forget about it. Epicenter is a lot better horse than what he's going to have to face or what he faced in the Pacific Classic.
Yeah, and so's Taba, and so's Life is Good, and it's any number of these, really. This is quality top to bottom. Now, are you thinking Cyberknife is going to run in this or run in the Dirt Mile?
The Dirt Mile is where Cyberknife is being pointed reportedly.
And isn't that interesting how they've decided to?
I think they looked at it and said, we can win the Dirt Mile.
I do too.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the game. Why put your horse somewhere you're not going to win, or you're not very sure you can?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the Dirt Mile makes a lot more sense for Cyberknife.
Did you know? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
In the Dirt Mile, also simplification is in that.
I don't like simplification much in that one.
I know, but isn't that interesting that they moved him down to the mile?
Right. Well, I think that's what you're seeing. Like, where was that comment? Yeah, Kevin B talking about Tacitus and Art Collector and those types, right? Used to be in the Classic or have been in the Classic before. You're not getting that this year because of Flightline.
Oh, yeah.
Because of how good it looks. So in the past with a fringe horse, you're going to take your chance. Here, it's like, I'm not doing that. That's
it's you're not only taking your chance with Flightline, you're taking your chance with Life is Good, Epicenter. I mean, there's quality behind Flightline.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to have to beat a lot of them. And
you are.
Yeah, and it's not easy.
You thought, well, I have a shot at second. That's a pretty good purse.
Mm-hmm.
Second place. That's a pretty good purse to run second. You don't really have that. You're going to have to be pretty good to finish second in this.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're a horse like Cyberknife, even who's very good, I don't think you can get second.
No, I don't think so.
A couple things before we move on to the sports side of it. Let me scroll through these comments real quick. There was a couple I wanted to touch on. Oh, I'll touch on yours, Dennis, real quick. Where did you say? Oh, you said something about a comment that I made. I think the comment yesterday you liked was I was kind of visually like seeing how the Classic would unfold. And we were talking about Life is Good. And I said, well, I have Life is Good off the board. And here's why. I think if he gets to the lead and he's comfortable, which he should, and then Flightline passes him, I think that Life is Good might try to rally back into him. And then when he can't, he will quit completely.
Makes sense.
In my opinion, Life is Good is off the board. Or what if Life is Good gets out ahead, Flightline maybe doesn't quite fire and can't get to him? In that case, I actually like Life is Good to win. Almost saying if Flightline wasn't in the race, I would really strongly consider picking Life is Good because he's going to be on the lead. I don't see a lot of other speed with him. And he's the type that if he gets out there and they can't get to him, he's not going to come back to you. And so you got to go get him. And I think with Flightline, he has the ability to pass him. Therefore, Life is Good may kind of give it up. And then that's when your Epicenters and your Tabas will make their runs. That's kind of how I visualize it. Of course, how you visualize something and then what happens when they break from the gates, two different things. Yeah,
and I think what you're kind of also saying is if he can't win it, he's just going to say the heck with it. You know what I mean?
No, that's the simplest way of putting it. Yeah, which is exactly what I was trying to say. Yeah,
if he can't win it, he's going to say, you know what? I can't beat that horse. I don't care if I finish second, third, or seventh. Doesn't matter to me.
Some horses, and I think Life is Good is like this. He's so I just feel like if you got inside of his head, all he wants to do is break as fast as he can and get away from those horses. And
probably
I don't want to see anybody else.
Yeah.
But then if there's a horse good enough to get him, he gets real frustrated and says the hell with it. If you watch the Dubai World Cup, that's kind of what happened. There were horses that were good enough to get to him / he didn't run it quite as well. He probably should have gotten second in that race. He was probably the second best horse that day, but Once he got past, it's just like he was irritated, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do that, so I'm done." I don't feel like you look at him and think he's a real gutty type. He's just kind of a freak, and it's tough to beat a freak. But unfortunately for him, you got another freak in the race that I think might dishearten him. Yeah.
And I always think of it something, this is kind of dumb, but he's a horse. He's not getting the money. So first or fifth doesn't matter to him. Nope. He's going to get the same oats. He might get a little bit better oats if he wins it, but he's going to get the same thing for supper, whether he wins it or not. This kind of horses that's won so much money, they're not going to criticize him too much if he didn't win this.
So one more scenario, because I've been living this for months, and this is all I want to talk about. Kevin B says he kind of sees like a Hot Rod Charlie / Happy Saver getting third behind the better of the 3-year-old who gets second. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, Kevin. I don't know if you watched on our pre-entry show. To me, what I think is going to happen is Flightline makes the move into Life is Good. And Life is Good gets frustrated and backs up. The next thing that's going to happen is who made the move with Flightline from that 3-year-old bunch and tried to move like with him and try to take the first shot at him. Whoever that is, I think is going to go backwards once the real running begins. And the other 3-year-old who was a little more patient will kind of just chunk up there and get second. And I do think that leaves a void in third for somebody, whether it be Hot Rod, Happy Saver, a Rich Strike, perhaps, to run up and get third, even though they may not be the third best horse from a talent perspective. They just kind of ran the race to get third. Does that make sense? What I'm, probably not.
That's me.
Okay.
That's to me. I mean, we see this all the time.
Yeah.
The third place horse just keeps running, just keeps going, And sometimes these champions that are used to winning see they can't win it, and they do drop back. Mm-hmm. That happens. We see it a lot. How many times do you see a really close down the stretch and then a couple of horses passes one that's been running great, and that one that gets passed just kind of quits.
Yeah.
And it's back.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of that to me, this, like what we're talking about right now is the most fun thing about racing and handicapping is trying to visualize exactly how it's going to work out, because that's how you you might get the winner. Okay. We know who that's going to be maybe, or at least we have a strong opinion on it, but how you get the exactas and tries is you kind of come up with these scenarios, and that's basically what we're doing. Right. So anyway, yeah, so that's it. That's our racing talk. We definitely are excited about it. Papa Dude's picks will be on the guide as always. He's always on our guides, so look for those. He will be on there. He's laughing. He does well on these guides. So here's what I like about having you on it. Right, all of us guys are just almost to the point where you overthink it. You just swoop in and it's like, okay, there it is.
Yeah, I kind of learned this since I've been helping you do these picks on these smaller tracks. I've realized you do just as well if you spend 5 minutes or an hour. You just really do. You just kind of go in there. Okay, let's do this. Okay,
I think it's because the longer sometimes a race requires a little more attention. Let's say, right? It's a little more complicated, but for a lot of these races, I think the longer you look at it, the more tangled you get.
Yeah.
Where if you look at it, this horse is the best horse, and this horse is second, and there's a long shot to get third. Boom, go to the next one.
It really is pretty simple as that. But the more I've said this to many, many people who ask me, and I'm in no way you and Mike and Magic and Jared's category. No way. But I know a little more than most people. And they'll ask me, and I'll go, the more I do this, the more I start worrying about things. There's just more stuff to start worrying about in a race when you shouldn't do that. Yeah. Just go with your gut and go from there. And because there's so many angles you can play. All you guys play pace. Some of you play pace. Some of you play speed. Some of you do trainers. Some of you do jockeys. And then some of you do a little bit of all of it. And man, and then you start looking at where they won on a fast track, a slop, and you really did, Kevin. You did waste 4 hours. If you were watching 2-year-old Euro races, yes, I agree with you on that.
It depends on who you were watching, Kevin. No, listen, I wasted a lot of time watching Euro
Oh,
replays
we all do.
all day.
We all do.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what? You can sit there and say you waste a lot of time watching that hockey game last night too. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
That's definitely true. Kevin, a couple questions. We got to get going. We're going to rapid fire the picks today. Highfield Princess and the Platinum Queen. How much money are they going to take? After watching replays, Kevin, I think the Platinum Queen is going to take quite a bit. Highfield Princess, I'm kind of on the fence about what that horse is going to do or how much money it's going to take. But I think the Platinum Queen will be bet pretty hard. This is a good one. It's insane that Sharp as Attack did not draw in, but I think will eventually make his way into the race. Some of the horses have first preference somewhere else that's ahead of him. I agree. Probably should have been in that top 12 anyway, but I do think we'll actually make the body of the field once it happens. And I'm with you. I think the horse is interesting. So
yeah,
I guess the best way to kind of end this talk, stay tuned. A lot more talk coming up. Blinkers off tonight. We'll be going over these pre-entries. And then, next week, obviously a lot of stuff, but
I would like to just make one comment. You're absolutely right. If you guys like horse racing, just stay tuned to this channel. You're going to get so much stuff. These guys are going to hit it all over the place. I would like for Kevin and some of you guys to go to the track with me and him just one time. And you would die laughing. You really would. The bitching, the arguing, the stupid stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? That's what horse racing is about. If you can't go have fun, then don't go. And sometimes I think we take it too serious.
Well, yeah, I agree. And that goes back to kind of what we're saying. Sometimes you show up at a track and you've got the race handicapped in a few minutes, and then you just make intelligent bets, and whatever happens. And usually that's when you do the best. So.
Yeah, don't get mad. I get mad, and because when you miss one, you worked and you miss it, and say it finishes 12th, and you had it winning the race, and don't run it off. You can't get mad. You just can't.
So. Jesse, we were very fortunate to meet Jesse and Jalen at the track at Saratoga, and that you would love these two. Jalen is hilarious. He gives his dad shit constantly.
Yeah.
He's trying to tell him what to do. And of course, Jesse, when you pick Sandon to win the Travers, I mean, you deserved it. Jalen deserved to give that to you. So. No, they reminded me a lot of us. Obviously, Jalen much younger, and Jesse much younger as well, but yeah, same kind of thing.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. So that's the question, though. Are you going to Saratoga next year?
The problem with Saratoga is it's right during my beach time, and that's always been the issue. So I'm going to have to try to do something.
Well, listen, you're going to have to go. That's just
I got to go. I know it. I might have to next year. I say this every year, so we're going to have to do it. Yeah, I know better than that too, Jason.
Oh,
so,
well, we have a good time. And I know Pedlo tried to get it to Remington. I had to go home that day, Pedlo. I'm sorry. We will make it.
Pedlo, the problem with Remington for Aaron and I, it's a bad time of the year for us because we go to all those OU games and it just doesn't ever mesh. You
would think it would, but it seems to never work out.
Right. If Remington ran on Sunday, that would really help.
That would help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would. Yeah. Lake George does have a beach, Papa dude.
Okay. I need to. I was talking to Sandy a while ago, and Mike Samich has got an extra ticket to the Breeders' Cup, and it's too much people for me right now. Anyway, I said, I really don't. I would like to go just to meet all these people that might be there. Or the same with Saratoga. You guys who go to Saratoga, and I'm going to get up there just to do that because you're good to me, and I'd love to meet you. I really would. And you probably would be disappointed to meet me, but anyway,
you would enjoy Saratoga.
I know. I would just enjoy the whole thing. I'd like to go up to Lake Placid. So,
yes, you would enjoy Lake Placid immensely. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got to do that.
All right. Well, speaking of things we've got to do, by the way, gosh, I'm going to be watching these races in the background, alive in the Pick 5 at Belmont and alive in the Pick 5 at Keeneland. So this
All
is
right.
nerve-wracking as we go through this. But we got to get to the sports. We got to do it. This is a sports show. I said we're going to have to rapid fire it because we spent time. Plus, we've still got questions at the end,
right.
folks. So, all right, let's take it off. What'd you say?
I said stick around for your favorite part of the show.
That's right. That's right.
We do the questions first, but we figure everybody turn off would leave if we did the questions first.
Yeah, our viewership really swells once we get to the to the questions part. Laura Capper will give you the VIP tour. How about that?
I got it.
Jackie Warrior, nice. All right, here we go. Let's go to the that'll never go. Virginia Tech versus North Carolina State tonight in college football. What a segue. North Carolina State, 13.5-point favorite. No quarterback, though. Well, they have a quarterback, but at the backup. What do you think?
Oh, that's the only issue. I think they win because Tech is not very good. 13.5, that's tough when you don't have a quarterback, but I could see them maybe holding Virginia Tech to 3, and then you only got to score 17, which I think they're capable of. So that would be the only thing I'd look at this one. I'm going to stay away from it, though, because I don't know what their backup situation is.
Same. I think North Carolina State wins. Don't know that they cover. Kind of back and forth on that one. All right, Utah. And Dennis chimes in, says a lot of trap games this week in college football. Here's one. Utah on the road tonight, late night in Pullman, Washington, against Washington State. Utah 7-point favorite. What about this one?
Well, we talked about it on the Daily Show a while ago. I like Washington State tonight, plus the points. I don't know if they win. I don't think they will. But I've seen them play a couple times. They're pretty good. Their defense is really good. And somebody made a point, I didn't get a chance to mention it on the, I think it may have been Kevin on the Daily Show, that Utah's not the same defensively that they've been. And in the past, they've been able to go on the road and they can shut people down. If you'll notice, people are scoring points on them. So their defense isn't as good. I think they'll score enough to win. But I like Washington State plus 7 in this one.
I'm with you. I think Utah wins. Washington State covers in this game. All right, let's go to the big one at Penn State. Can Penn State make it 2 in a row after a big win last week against Minnesota? Much better opponent this week, but they've been tough on Ohio State in the past when they go to Penn State. What do you think? Ohio State, Penn State. Ohio State 15.5-point favorite. Do they win? Do they cover?
That's going up too. It started at 14. Now it's 15.5. I'm a little surprised Penn State didn't have this for whiteout. That's kind of surprising to me that they had whiteout last week, unless they're going to have it again, which they might.
They usually do have it for Ohio State.
Yeah, that's kind of a shock to me. 11 o'clock game too. That's weird. 15.5. I'm taking Penn State plus 15.5. I think Ohio State wins.
I'm going to take Penn State plus the 15.5, and I do think Ohio State will win, but that is a lot of points to go on the road and try to win. So that's going to, or to try to cover, I should say. So that's going to be an interesting game. I think Penn State will keep it closer than that, but in the end, Ohio State probably just a little bit.
One thing, Ohio State didn't play anybody really. They really have.
True. Yeah.
Notre Dame, and they're not. I mean, you beat Notre Dame, that's good. Don't get me wrong. But they're not real strong. This is the best team they played, I think.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would totally agree with that. All right, Pedlo's leaving, but he said Boomer Sooner. Boomer Sooner to Pedlo. Hopefully we get a win. We might talk about the game here in a second. All right, let's go on. TCU goes on the road to take on West Virginia. West Virginia did upset Baylor a couple of weeks ago at West Virginia. Always a tough place to play. TCU, even though they're 7-0, just a 7.5-point favorite in this game.
I think, Dennis, this is one of those trap games. TCU's came off of 3 emotional games in a row, and they've won them all. West Virginia is not easy to play at. West Virginia got killed last week at Texas Tech. I can see an upset in this one. I'm not going to pick it as an upset because TCU is good. I think this goes down to the wire, but I think TCU pulls it out.
I think TCU pulls it out. I think it goes down to the wire. I'm with you. I think it'll be an interesting game. I think this is one when you're on your phone and you look at the scores, you're like, oh my God, West Virginia's ahead 17-7.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Notre Dame goes on the road. Notre Dame, you can't figure out. They go on the road this weekend to take on Syracuse. The Dome's going to be rocking. Ricky's going to be rocking. Syracuse a 2.5-point favorite in this game. To me, this is a really tough one. Where'd you go?
Well, you took the words out of my mouth. I don't know. I don't know about Notre Dame. I know this. Syracuse has a great defense, and they're going to come after you, and Notre Dame's offense is not very good. So I think it's low scoring. I would go under 48 in this one. I think it's going to be 20-17, something in that neighborhood. I could be totally wrong, but that's what I think. How much does Syracuse have left in the tank after almost beating Clemson? So I'm picking Notre Dame to win because I just don't think Syracuse has got enough left after that great effort last week.
Notre Dame. Field goal. Notre Dame. I don't know. I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't buy Syracuse. Still, I don't buy them, but
they're tough.
Field goal. Notre Dame.
Here's the thing. Syracuse doesn't have – I mean, the quarterback is tough as nails, but if you can stop him on the option, they don't have much else. And I think Notre Dame can do that.
I think Notre Dame will shut them down, but I think Notre Dame will also get shut down. And, I guess
I'm going under 48.
The under 48's the bet for me. If I had to make a bet in that game, that's what I would do. I think it'll go under 48. I think Notre Dame in the end's going to win. Field goal. Notre Dame 13-10. They're going to win that game.
Sounds about right.
All right. Florida goes on, or not on the road. Florida goes into the neutral field game, largest outdoor cocktail party, Jacksonville, Florida. Florida and Georgia. Georgia 22.5-point favorite. We've seen upsets in this game in the past. Are we going to see one this year?
I don't think so. The line is huge for a rivalry game. This is a big rivalry, but I don't think Georgia is good enough to beat, or Florida is good enough to beat Georgia. I'm not going to bet it. I do think 22.5 is too much, but I'm not going to bet it.
I'm going to say Georgia, big.
Okay.
28-point plus for Georgia in this game.
Right.
I don't think Florida's ready. I think they kind of got overhyped after that Utah win, and they have been really pretty average ever since.
Yeah.
So, all right. Speaking of a team that got pounded week 1 and then came back and looked great, 6-1 Oregon, now up to number 8 in the country. They go to California this weekend. Oregon a 17-point favorite in this one.
Well, this is kind of a trap game, coming off a huge win over UCLA and having to go on the road. Cal is not very good, so I don't think Oregon loses. I think they struggle a little bit early, but then pull away late and cover the 17.
Oregon, big in California. I'm glad Kevin B is seeing what I'm trying to do here. All right, let's move on to this one. Listen, ever since I started doing the Corso thing, my picks have been hitting, so I'm going to keep doing it. All right, Oklahoma State on the road this weekend. You mentioned it on the Monday show, an underdog again. Oklahoma State gets no respect. They're a 1.5-point underdog on the road against Kansas State. All right, Manhattan, kind of a tough place to play. What do you think about this one?
Well, we talked about this, and I do not understand why Oklahoma State gets no respect. I don't get it. People don't realize in the last 10 years, they've won as many games as anybody. They've been as consistent as anyone in the last 10 years. And I hate them. And I'm bragging on them. And I hate to have to do that, but it's true. Facts are facts, and you can't sugarcoat it.
Yep.
K-State lost last week. Blew a 28-10 lead. I don't know what their quarterback issue is. I haven't looked. It doesn't matter to me. I'm taking Oklahoma State all the way. I think they beat them by 10.
Good pick. Oklahoma State, a field goal and an extra point. They beat them by 4. Oklahoma State rolls in this one. All right, Wake Forest goes on the road to take on Louisville. Wake Forest is only a 3.5-point favorite at Louisville. This could be a trap game. What do you think?
I think this is, if I was Wake, I'd be scared to death of this game, Dennis. I really would. At times, Louisville has played well. They beat Pittsburgh last week, so they're playing really well. This is a toughie for Wake. I think if it was like Clemson going in there at 6-1 with the same resume Wake Forest is, they'd be about a 17-point favorite. I think the fact it's Wake, it's 3.5. I think they cover. I think it's fairly close, though. I think Louisville playing pretty well. I don't think Louisville can shut them down.
Wake Forest.
Go.
Dennis, $9. You can go watch the number 10 team in the country, Wake Forest. Wake Forest, big. I don't think it'll be a game.
Yeah.
Wake
Dennis,
Forest wins this one.
If you don't have the money, Dennis, go out to Walmart with a sign, put it up there, need food, and maybe you can get your $9 to get into the game.
Why would he even say need cash? Wouldn't he not need food?
Well, they'll give you money instead of food.
Oh, my God.
And I'm kidding you, Dennis. Make a good bet tonight. Keep that $9 aside and go see it. Hey, Sam Hartman is worth going to see for $9.
I think so too. I can't believe it's $9. Beautiful stadium there. I've never been, but I've walked by it 100 times. So
great place. Yeah, go, Dennis. Go.
All right, the Fighting Illini go on the road this weekend to take on the Fighting Cornhuskers. Nebraska 3-4. They've been, I guess, a little better since firing Scott Frost. Not much, really. Illinois, the surprise team there at 6-1, up to number 17. Like I said, 7.5-point favorites here for the Illini. What do you think?
Well, you know what I think. I think this will be a tough game. I do. I've said it for 2 weeks. Nebraska's got enough offense to give them some trouble. And Illinois doesn't have the offense that can exploit Nebraska's weakness, which is defense. So I think it's fairly close. I think the line is about right. I think Illinois wins it. I'm not going to bet it because I'm not sure of anything when it comes into this. I hope Illinois wins. I'm pulling for them big time because I think what they've done so far has really been good. They really need this one. They can't afford to lose this game. You've been saying they're going to slip up somewhere. Is this it?
I don't think they'll slip up in Lincoln.
That'd
be a big time slip up. Although they did lose at Indiana, which is putridly bad. Yeah. So I think they're going to get this one. I'm going to take Nebraska plus the 7.5.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
I think Illinois kicks a field goal. It hits the upright and goes in to win the game on the last play of the game. Illinois wins this one 16-13. Field goal hits the upright and goes in.
Good enough for me. I hope so.
I'll take the under on that 50.5 for sure. All right. Cincinnati goes on the road to take on Central Florida. Cincinnati's won 6 in a row, but they're underdogs in this spot. Central Florida, 1.5-point favorite. They've kind of been up and down this year as well. This is a weird one.
I can't believe this. I can't believe it. Here's another team that gets no respect. A year away from getting all kinds of respect, and now suddenly they get zero respect. Am I not mistaken, or did Central Florida get clobbered last week at East Carolina?
Correct.
So how in the world are they 1.5-point favorite? I don't get it. I mean, I can see this being a good game. And I can see Cincinnati being only a 1.5-point favorite. I don't see any way Central Florida's favored. I think Cincinnati might beat them 2 touchdowns. This might be my best bet. I don't know.
So fast, my friend. 2 touchdowns, that's crazy. I'll take Central Florida to win this one by 1 point.
Lee, you need to go to the retirement home.
Not so fast. I'm telling you, I think Central Florida will beat them. I'm not sure what Cincinnati is. I think Central Florida gets it done in this game.
I'll take consistency over inconsistency any day.
Ooh, that's kind of a Lee Corso comment as well. All right, let's move on. Missouri goes to South Carolina. This would be a pretty good ball game. Missouri's not terrible this year. South Carolina up to 5-2 now. They get ranked, and they probably deserve it. They've won some games that I don't think they would have or should have or could have. Any of those words would have worked. South Carolina, 3.5-point favorite in this one.
This line is dropped.
Yep.
It opened at 5.5. So I don't really know why it's dropped. I don't know what's happened that caused it to drop. I don't think South Carolina should be ranked. I'll say that. Just because you beat Texas A&M, you should be ranked.
I think that win against Kentucky was a big one for him.
Yeah, and they didn't have their quarterback.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If this game was in Columbia, I would take the Tigers.
The game is in Columbia.
Columbia, that's true. But if it's in Columbia, Missouri, I would take the Tigers. Since it's in Columbia, South Carolina, I'm going to take South Carolina to cover.
Yep, the Battle of Columbia goes to South Carolina this year. I'll take South Carolina minus the 3.5 as well. Kentucky goes to Tennessee. Is it a trap game for Tennessee? Kentucky's got a quarterback back. Tennessee a 12-point favorite.
I don't know how that can be a trap game because Kentucky's ranked. And I don't think it's a trap game when you play a ranked team, especially at home. You better watch out for the Wildcats. If anybody can slow them down, it'll be them. But I don't think they can. I don't think they have enough offense to beat them. So I think it's going to be really close until late. I think a couple of touchdowns are going to do it. So I'm taking Tennessee to cover.
I think Tennessee is gonna beat them pretty easily because I feel like I don't know who can stop Tennessee. Like I think they're still gonna get their points on Kentucky, and I don't think Kentucky's explosive enough.
No.
You might be right. Maybe Kentucky keeps it close for a little while, but I think we're both gonna be on the same side. We're going Tennessee minus the 12. I think it's
going to be, can Kentucky limit the long pass? Can they keep that long 75-yard pass, which they used against Alabama? Can they keep that from happening?
Yeah.
But I don't know whether they can or not.
I don't know either. It's tough. It's going to be really tough. And like I said, I think Tennessee will be able to stop them enough to kind of get away from them. So,
right.
All right, Lincoln Riley takes the Trojans into Arizona, down to the desert. USC, a 15.5-point favorites. Will they keep it rolling this weekend? Or I guess get back on track, I should say, this weekend.
Right. And they've had a week off. Arizona's vastly improved. They're not good enough to beat USC. I think they cover.
Keep having visions of when Oregon went down there and just slaughtered Arizona. I think USC will do the same. So
I do too.
Yeah, I think this will be a pretty easy game for USC. All right, Michigan State. They've had Michigan's number for a lot of years. I don't know about this year. Michigan State is struggling. Michigan looks really good. 22.5-point favorite for the Wolverines. What's going to happen in this one?
Michigan State's coming off a win. I can't remember who they beat, but it was somebody. Who did they beat last week? Somebody decent, I think.
They beat, didn't it? Was it Wisconsin they beat last week?
No, that Wisconsin beat Purdue last week. Maybe they beat them the week before. I think they did.
I think they beat Wisconsin.
Yeah, both of them have had the week off.
Yeah.
So, thank you, JL. What was I going to say? Okay, I don't think they have a chance in this game. So I'm going to go Michigan. I think they beat them by as bad as they want.
It's cheering because the pick 5 was hit at Belmont.
All right.
Woo. $566.
Whoa.
On a $96 ticket. Not too bad, but not great.
No,
I'll take it. It's $500. All right. Let's move on. I'm taking Michigan, by the way. I don't think it'll be much of a game. All right, let's move on here. Ole Miss goes on the road to take on Texas A&M. Boy, A&M has had some problems. My goodness. What do you think? How's that going to factor into this one? Mississippi, a 2-point favorite.
Well, we got to talk about this just a second for what's going on at A&M.
Yeah.
My gosh, chaos is going on.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. So the question is, how much blame do you put on the head coach for this? Now, the rumors coming out are, and I'm hearing it in a lot of places, 3 kids were smoking weed in the locker room after the game at South Carolina the other day. Are you hearing that too?
I've heard this, yeah.
Yes. It's not been confirmed. Of course, they're not gonna go out and talk about this much.
Yeah.
They have been suspended. They're playing terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You would think there's no way they can get up for this game. You would just have to think there's turmoil in that locker room. How are they going to get up and play a game? But sometimes you do. Sometimes you rally around. I think there's so much problems going on. Here's the deal. If Mississippi loses this game, they're not any good, in my opinion. I just think, Mississippi's coming off a bad loss. Not a bad loss, but they got beat too bad at LSU.
Yeah.
That's what's bad about the loss. I'm going to stay away from it because I've seen teams rise up. A&M's got talent. Will they rally around what's left of that and play the game of their lives and try to save their season? Or have they tossed it in? That's what we don't know.
I think what we're seeing is what happens in the new era of college football when things fall apart, right?
Yep.
Because the bottom line is there's a lot of money that was spent at A&M
on a recruiting class of all time.
Yeah, and there's no results, and there's a lot of money spent on that head coach, and there's no results.
Right.
So it's a problem.
And this is 4 or 5 kids in that recruiting class that's been suspended for various reasons. So you have to think they're just going out and getting athletes, and they're not looking at the character of the athletes, trying to get this great recruiting class, and it's not panning out. And the other question is, how much longer is the rope going to be for Jimbo Fisher? And is he going to have to accept part of the blame for what's going on?
Do you know his buyout situation?
I'm sure it's huge.
$87 million.
That is just ludicrous.
That's the buyout situation on Jimbo Fisher.
$87 million.
Yes.
Okay, that's all you need to know about what's wrong at Texas A&M.
Uh-huh.
If they got themselves in a mess like that to where to get rid of a coach that's obviously has lost control or seems to have lost control, I don't know how much blame you can put on him, but somebody should have – there should be enough respect and fear for those players not to do that in the locker room. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah.
So they obviously don't have any respect for the program, no fear of the coach. They don't care. And then you have an $87 million buyout. Yeah, he's right. Jimbo's living the American dream. My God.
Yeah.
What's he care whether they fire him or not?
Yeah. It's crazy to think about that. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out, but it's not going well, and it hasn't gone well.
No,
I mean, this is
one really good year, and that was in the COVID year.
The COVID year, they were good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The rest of the time, they haven't been any better under him than anybody else.
No.
So,
and you go down through history, A&M is never any good.
No.
They're good. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you call 8-4, 9-3. That's about as good as they ever are, which is fine. That's not. I mean, we shouldn't knock that, but
I have a friend / sort of family member in New York, married into the family. Good guy. I'm not giving him shit, but he's a huge A&M fan. And every summer we'll go up there and he'll say, "Well, what do you think about A&M this year? What do you think?" I said, "They'll be about 8-4." And he goes, "No, they're going to be way better than that." And I said, "Why?" "Oh, we're way better than that." I said, "Never. Have you ever been better than 8-4?
I hear all the time, well, they're in the SEC. Well, guess what? They were in the Southwest Conference years ago. They never won it.
No.
And there were some other than Texas at that time and Arkansas, those were the dominant people in the Southwest Conference. You had Rice, you had Tech wasn't any good, Baylor wasn't any good.
Houston.
They never won the Southwest Conference.
No.
Or they might every once in a while. Then they were in the Big 12.
Never won it.
No.
They were 8-4 every year in the Big 12.
Every year.
Yeah.
They were decent. They're just like they are now. So there's no difference. So anyway.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It is.
And he's right. Jameis Winston made him a ton of money. But other than that, they really weren't. They didn't have great teams at Florida State.
And I'll tell you another thing, JL. He earned his stripes, or he got his reputation as a defensive or an offensive coordinator for Bobby Bowden, right? Or was it Nick Saban? It was one of the others.
Saban.
Okay. Just because you coach for Nick Saban does not make you a great coach.
I mean, that's been proven. And honestly, this is going to be weird to say, like, take Sark, for example, at Texas. I kind of like as a person, I kind of like him, but he's not a good coach.
No. I like him too.
He was the offensive coordinator at Alabama when they had some of the best players they've ever had on offense.
It's players and what you do with them. But you can be the greatest coach in the world, and if you don't have players, you're going to get your ass beat. It's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you got good players, you got to be able to put them in the right spots. And that's what makes Saban what he is. He's a great recruiter, great motivator. He's got the fear of God in him.
Yeah.
He puts them where they belong. And
don't get it twisted. We're not saying he doesn't produce good coaches. We're saying you coaching under him doesn't automatically make you a great coach. No. That's what we're saying. Like, they've had some bad ones too. You can't just go and take everybody from that staff.
What we're saying is, just because you're on Nick Saban's staff doesn't mean you're going to be a great head coach.
Correct. Yeah. That's exactly like, Sark is a great example. He's not great. But again, you kind of knew that going in. Like, you saw him in other places. He wasn't good at other places as a head coach either. So anyway, we could go on and on. All right, let's move on. What do we got here? Pittsburgh goes on the road to take on North Carolina. North Carolina, a 3-point favorite in this game. I thought they'd be more. I think North Carolina is going to roll in this one. What about you?
I think I'm a little surprised too, because Pitt's coming off a loss. They're 4-3. It's in Chapel Hill. I think Carolina beats them by 13, probably. I'm going North Carolina -3.
Yeah, I don't like this Pittsburgh team very well at all. I think North Carolina gets it done. And then finally, Stanford on the road against UCLA, 16.5-point favorite for the Bruins. Do they bounce back this weekend?
Sneaky game here too. Coming off that loss, Stanford's won 2 in a row, beat Notre Dame. Were unimpressive last week, but won. I'm tempted to take Stanford plus 16.5 in this one.
I don't know. I think this is a really boring game, one way or the other.
Yeah.
I'm not fired up for this game. I'll take Stanford as well, but I think the Bruins win. I mean,
they're going to win.
There's better games you can bet.
I think so.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the NFL. We'll rapid fire these NFL picks. Tonight's game, Ravens on the road take on the Buccaneers.
By the way, we mentioned Willie Fritz, the coach at Tulane.
Yes.
And I talked to my buddy yesterday who knows him very well. Willie's a lot older than we thought. He's either 62 or 63.
No way, really?
Yeah.
He doesn't look it.
No. I mean, he said he doesn't act it, but he said, I mentioned Nebraska, some things. He said, I think they'll hold that against him. That, those type of schools don't want to hire somebody that old. So he said he's not necessarily looking to move, but he would like to. So
he would like to move though.
Yeah, but he's not holding his breath, I guess I should say.
Okay.
So anyway.
Well, that's good to know. That we wanted to know about that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Okay.
Tampa Bay and the Ravens tonight. Where are you going?
Well, let's see. This open plus, I think Mike was mentioning this on the Daily Show. Open at +1.5. Let's see. The Ravens were favored on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's gone all the way to Tampa -2. And I guess it's because of the injury problems. Mark Andrews, I don't think is going to play. I've not verified that, but evidently he's not.
Mm-hmm.
That hurts the Ravens. I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole, except I think I will take the under 46, and that's the only thing I could possibly think of betting. I have no idea what's going to happen tonight.
Well, all right. I'm going to take the Ravens in this game, money line. And sure, I'll take the under as well. I think it'll be kind of a tight game. I don't know. They're both trash. They both really need a win. So it makes for some desperate football tonight, which sometimes can produce a pretty good game. They just really both need to win. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to take the Ravens. I don't think it'll be a well-played game because it involves the Ravens and the Buccaneers, but I do think it will be an entertaining game. It's not going to be a snooze fest like we've been seeing. So, all right, let's go to London where the Russell Wilson-led Denver Broncos will take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville, a 2.5-point favorite in this one. Where are you going?
You talk about trash. This is trash and trasher. No interest in this whatsoever. I don't know. I'm not betting it. Why would you even touch this? Come on. There's got to be something better than this.
Jacksonville gonna win this game. I'm definitely all over this one. Anytime you get to bet against the Broncos, you do it. I'll take the Jaguars. Yeah, come on, Kevin. You got to get up early. You got to watch this game. It's going to be great.
Oh, God.
Dennis says by 5, a field goal and a safety for.
There you go. That's good. I like it.
I think Jacksonville wins. I think they're going to pull this one out. I don't think they'll have a whole lot of trouble, to be honest. All right, Panthers on the road to take on the Falcons. Panthers trying to make it 2 in a row. Falcons a 4-point favorite in this one. If Tampa loses tonight, the Falcons can take the lead in this division.
Yeah, we talked about it Monday, I think. Huge game between a 2-5 and 3-4. If the Panthers win, they're right in it. Who could say that? They are awful. The Falcons need this one. They can take a stranglehold on the division with a win at 4-4 if Tampa loses tonight. I like the Falcons -4.
I'll take the Falcons as well. Now, here's the deal. If Tampa loses, if the Panthers win, you'll have 3 teams at 3-5 in that division to be on top. So,
oh, God.
I'm going to go Falcons, though. I think they get it done. All right, Bears and the Cowboys up next.
Okay.
And the Cowboys, 9.5-point favorite here against Chicago. Cowboys at home trying to build momentum. The Bears got a huge win last week out of nowhere. Vegas, not convinced. As the Cowboys are a big favorite. What do you think?
I watched that game Monday night. I was shocked. I would sit there and was shocked at what I was watching out of the Bears. The Patriots were helpless. I'm going to take Dallas to win, but I'm going Bears plus 9.5. I think that's too many points.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm going to take the Cowboys to win it, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Bears cover that one. All right, Dolphins go on the road this weekend to take on the Lions. Dolphins need this one. They're 3.5-point favorites. Do they get it done?
They've got to win. If they don't win, you got to junk them. They've got to go to Detroit and beat the hapless Lions. They have to. I think it'll be close. 3.5. They may win by a field goal. That half point's kicking it. So I'm going Lions plus 3.5. Bears, Dolphins win by 3.
No, Dolphins straight up. Dolphins cover. Give me a break. Take the Lions. All right, Cardinals go on the road to take on Minnesota. Feels like a little bit of a trap line, Papa Dude. Minnesota just a 3.5-point favorite in this one.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of respect for the Vikings. Remember, Arizona's tough on the road. Could be an upset right here. This is possible. I'm going
not so fast. Minnesota big.
I'm picking Minnesota, but I think it's a chance for an upset.
Minnesota big.
Okay.
Big. Yeah. Kirk Cousins at noon on Fox, big. Kirk Cousins, noon, big. Vikings. All right. Raiders go on the road to take on the Saints. The Raiders are a 1.5-point favorite. This is a big game for the Raiders.
It is. And we were bragging on them. Here's their chance to back us up, right? You got to go in there and beat New Orleans if you're a decent team. And they still got a shot. If they could get on a roll with the Chargers tanking it and the Broncos tanking it, they could beat those teams. They could sneak into the playoffs if they get to rolling because they're not bad. So they've got to cover this. They have to. So I'm going Raiders to cover that.
Must win for the Raiders. I do think they get it. I do think they get it done. I do. I'm going to go Raiders by 3. Raiders by a field goal in this one. All right. Patriots go on the road to take on the Jets. It's a huge game. I'm shocked that the Patriots are favored even after that game on Monday night. The Jets are 5-2. What do you think? 2.5-point favorites for New England.
Well, you know what? It opened at 1.5 before that game, and now it's 2.5.
Yeah, I know.
That makes no sense to me. I guess they think that Belichick will rally the troops, and he has a way of doing that back when he had good players. He doesn't have good players. I like the Jets in this one.
Not so fast, my friend. Patriots get it done. They start Zappy from the start. They move the ball. They stop the Jets. Patriots win this game by 5. All right, Steelers.
You went 11-3 last week, so I cannot argue with you.
Well, that means I could go 3-11 this week, just as easy. All right, Steelers go on the road to take on the Eagles. The Eagles are 11-point favorites. A lot of points there, but what do you think of this one?
Too many points. Eagles win. Pittsburgh plus 11.
I think Eagles cover even in this one too.
Wow.
Eagles with the victory. I think they're gonna come out and dominate this one. All right. Let's move on to the Titans and the Texans. The Tennessee Titans, 2.5-point favorites on the road here against the Texans. What do you think?
No respect for the Titans, none whatsoever. Tennessee minus 2.5.
Tennessee, big. This will be an easy game. Easy game for Tennessee. They'll probably pull the starters in the second quarter of this one. All right. Commanders go on the road to take on the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a 3-point favorite at home against the Commanders. Big game, really, for these middling loser teams that might actually sneak into the playoffs. Who gets it done?
See, you're right. It's a big game. If Washington get to 4-4, they're not bad. We know the Colts aren't very good, but a win keeps them right in a chance for the division. I can see an upset here. I'm going to go Washington +3.
Commanders. Forget about that 3 points. Take them on the money line. Commanders go in and beat Sam Ehlinger and the Colts. Commanders straight up. Take them on the money line. Don't take the points. Come on. Just put that plus money to use. All right, 49ers on the road to take on the Rams, but the 49ers are a favorite, 1.5-point favorite in this one. Big game for this division. Where are you going?
Does this surprise you, the line?
A bit, yes.
Does me. After the way they played the other day against the Chiefs. Rams had a week off. LA.
I like the Rams.
Okay.
I like the Rams. Another one. Bet them on the money line. Underdog. I like them. The Giants are 6-1. They go to Seattle this weekend, 4-3. Seattle playing great. Seattle a 3-point favorite in this one.
We're all sitting around waiting for the Giants to lose, right?
Right.
Is this the week? If Seattle wins, they're 5-3, and that is unbelievable. Seattle -3.
Seattle will win this 28-10. Seattle wins it 28-10. No, give them 17. 28-17.
No way. It's 28-10.
I like Seattle a lot in this game. I think they're going to play well. I think they'll win. No disrespect to the Giants. It's time for them to lose one. Tough trip out west. Seattle playing well. I don't think the Giants will be able to stop them enough to hold on and beat them. So, Seattle for me. All right, Packers go on the road on Sunday Night Football to take on the Bills, and the Bills are 11.5-point favorites in this one.
Can you believe that? Before the season started, would you think the Bills would be an 11.5-point favorite over the Packers, and you're sitting there thinking that they may actually cover that?
I can see why they would be now, but at the beginning of the year, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If the Packers have any pride left, they're going to play them closer than that. They're going to go up there and play a great game. I don't know if they do. So I'm not going to bet it, but I'm going to go Packers plus 11.5. And if they don't cover that, I think Aaron Rodgers needs to get a haircut and shave.
I think.
And quit looking like he's homeless.
I think for the Packers to cover this, they're going to need to use voodoo or other sorts of magic or sorcery of some sort. I think the Bills will absolutely curb stomp the Packers.
I hope.
I don't think it's close.
I hope you're
big in this game. All right. Finally, Halloween. And what two better teams for Halloween than the Bengals and the Browns? It's the orange, it's the black. Man, what a setting for this one. Cincinnati on the road to the scary Cleveland Browns. 3.5-point favorites for the Bengals. Do they keep it rolling?
You think they did these colors on purpose?
Surely they did.
It's really cool how that's come out. Yes, Cleveland goes down. Cincinnati keeps it rolling.
I think you're right. Now, I could see the Browns putting some kind of monkey wrench in this, and maybe the hook gets you beat if you try to play the spread. I think the Bengals win. I do think they cover it, but I could see the Browns just to be assholes, jump in there and beat you on that. How is the over-under only 46? I agree. I think it's going over that. What about you?
I don't know. They may be thinking weather might play a factor. I don't know. You never know in Cleveland what the weather's going to be. I don't know. These NFL games, I don't know. You can go over 46 in any of them, to be honest.
A lot of these teams are bad teams out there for sure.
I think they're figuring the Browns aren't going to score much. I don't know.
I think the way Joe Burrow looked last week, you probably are going to lean towards the under. You know, the Bengals don't play well against the Browns in recent years. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. All right, that's it. That's all we got.
It's good.
All right, questions.
That NFL fast.
I know.
Well, we were on a theme of favorite stuff last week, so I think we need to go back to that. But we kind of covered the baseball caps, I believe.
We did kind of cover the caps. Yeah.
So I've seen this online some, and I think it's interesting. Let's do favorite college helmet.
Okay.
What do you think? A helmet that just is really good.
Oh boy.
I do not agree with the number one pick, by the way.
Favorite college helmet. I think Notre Dame's is about as pretty as there is.
That's a plain helmet.
It's iconic though.
If you see them in person, you cannot believe how that thing shines.
Yes. Yep.
It does. Yeah, that's good. I never even thought of them.
Yeah. I can remember when they came to Norman, I thought, wow, that is an iconic helmet.
It's true. The number one ranked one on whatever poll I saw was Michigan, which I hate that helmet. You do know immediately who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like that helmet. Do you?
I don't love Michigan's, but it is like kind of an iconic helmet. But I don't love them. Heather chimes in and says, "What about the Oregon Ducks?" She loves that one.
That's good.
Yep,
that's good. I think. Shoot, I just had one and it slipped my mind. I like. I don't. What do you think about Ohio State's? I don't
like it.
You do? I don't like all those things they have on them. Those Buckeyes they put on there. The Seminoles. I think the Seminoles one is pretty cool.
Florida State has a great helmet. Yeah. Without a doubt. That is a very, very good helmet. I've always liked Florida State's.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool thing. Can anybody think of another one? USC's is pretty cool.
USC's a really nice one. No doubt about it. I'm trying to think. The Florida Gator helmet I think is great.
Well, everything about that mascot's good.
Yeah.
OU's is iconic. It's
OU definitely. Yeah.
It really is good. The interlocking OU is
USC,
really
always good, like you said.
Yeah.
That Florida State helmet's hard to beat. It's pretty dang cool.
It's pretty. It really is. It's really nice.
Yeah. Hate to say it, the Texas Longhorn helmet is fantastic.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most helmets are not real flashy.
Right. Yeah.
Now, let's go through while you got them up there, all the teams. Let's go through the NFL jerseys.
Okay. NFL.
And we can do helmets as we go through here. Now that'll make it easier. There's no way we could do all the college. There's too many of them.
Yeah, NFL jerseys. Boy, those.
Well, you've got the thing there. Can't you just flip through them?
Yeah, here. Let me put it up here. These are tough though because there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to rate the bet whether it's so whether we like them or not.
I like okay. Yeah, we can do that. Go through all of them. All right. Buffalo Bills.
I like everything about the helmet and the jersey.
Agree. New York Jets.
So.
Yeah, I agree. Not huge fan. What about the Dolphins?
Love them.
Me too.
But I love a dolphin. That's one of my favorite animals, and I was a huge dolphin fan when they were really good in the 70s. I love it.
I like the Dolphins a lot. What about the Patriots? I like the Patriots.
I do too. I like the Patriots a lot. I didn't really like the old helmet with the real Patriot on there.
No,
for him. But I do like. I think their uniforms are really pretty. They're new.
Yes, I love the Patriots uniform. Out of those four, the Bills and the Patriots are tops. Yeah. For me, Dolphins would be a close third, though.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Saratoga clear fourth.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, Baltimore Ravens.
Hate them.
Me too. I don't like them at all.
I don't like the color combination. I think the helmet's got too much. I just don't like it.
Purple and black. That's not for me.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Awful.
Yeah, they're not awful, but it's hard to do a lot with those colors.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns.
Worst.
The worst in the league, no doubt.
They're terrible.
And the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I got to like those. Those are iconic. I don't really like them because I don't like black.
Yeah.
But the helmet's great. I mean, they're classic uniforms. And you know what? They don't ever change them. They keep them the same. They don't mess around with them.
They're classic, but they're not pretty or anything like that.
Oh no, you can't. Black and gold, forget it. You can't be pretty.
The new Bengal white ones, I agree with JL. They're pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
you're right. They are. They get too funky with some of them.
Yeah. Tennessee Titans.
They're okay.
I like
I like the color.
What about the Colts?
Classic. It's a classic uniform from way back.
Yeah.
I like them. Well, I like blue. So.
Right. Jaguars.
Puke.
They're awful. I agree. And Texans.
I can't even think what they look like.
They're not. They're kind of plain.
They're average. Yeah.
Yeah. Average. That's good. Kansas City Chiefs.
Beautiful.
Yes, they're good.
They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous uniforms. They really are.
Yes, the good colors, and they've done a good job with them. These are the best. The baby blue Chargers. That's the best.
Yep. No. Shitty team does not deserve these uniforms.
Yes, I totally agree, but they are fantastic. Raiders.
Horrible.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's what the Raiders should be. I mean, they should have that color scheme. That's what they're all about. And back when they were great in the 70s, that was an iconic uniform.
Yes, for sure. And the Denver Broncos.
Well, I don't really like them.
I think they're okay.
They're okay. I like the orange. I don't really like the navy blue.
I think some of their uniforms over the years have been better than others. Let's say they're not bad.
Yeah.
All right, NFC, the Eagles.
They're okay.
I like them.
I think that helmet's pretty cool.
Yep, I like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dennis just summed it up. The Broncos could be worse, could be better. It's kind of middle of the road. Almost.
Yeah.
New York Giants.
Oh, I think their road jerseys are so pretty. I
like them. Yeah.
Home, not so much. Road, I really like them. Yeah, they're good.
Dallas Cowboys.
Well, it's iconic. There's nothing you can't, whether you like them or not. The uniform's pretty good.
The uniforms are good, no doubt. And then the Commanders, formerly the Redskins.
They're just blah. They're Now when they've changed them. When they were the Redskins, they were kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah, I think they were always just kind of average for me.
They had to change them, and that's okay. There's nothing they can do.
Yeah. All right. I think the Vikings. How about the Vikings?
Good.
Yeah, solid. Packers.
Yeah. Well, another one. Solid. Iconic. Everybody knows the Green Bay uniform. It's good.
Bears.
Awful. But it's iconic too.
Same thing. Iconic, but and the Lions.
Good color scheme.
I don't think a team has ever done less with such a good color scheme.
Absolutely.
They're very plain.
Well, yeah, and then they're awful. The team's awful.
Right. And that makes
more. They could be better.
Yeah. All right. Tampa Bay.
I don't care for those too much.
They're better than what they used to have.
Yeah.
That orange and
it
was bad. But the Tampa Bay is not too bad now. What about the Falcons?
They're kind of just there.
Yeah, just average.
They're okay.
Carolina Panthers.
No,
they're dumb. Saints.
Don't like the colors, so I don't like the uniform. It's probably pretty good though if you like those colors.
I mean, yeah, I don't like the colors either. That's where I'm at with the Saints. They're not terrible, but I don't love them. No.
Right.
All right, Seattle Seahawks.
Sometimes they wear those ones. They kind of get to you a little bit. I kind of like some of them.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with them, but
the more I see that real neon green, I kind of like it. But
yeah,
it's average at best, though. Overall.
Right, it's kind of just give and take. Yeah. The Rams.
The Rams, now that they're wearing the jerseys that they wore before they came to St. Louis, I really like them.
So you did not like the early 2000 Rams?
Not really. I didn't like the ones when they played in St. Louis. I didn't like those as well. And I was a Rams fan, but I really like this jersey they have now.
Yeah. My
just the other way around.
My horse that I chose for the sports show or for the daily show today just won.
All right, good. We're not
8-5.
All right, we're not going to go for 3. That's good.
Oh, whew, gosh. I think
That's good.
Tommy said never in doubt. It was close the whole stretch. Okay. Here we go. Let's go. I got distracted. What about the 49ers?
Good.
I agree.
I like them. They're iconic also.
Yes, I agree. And then finally, another former St. Louis team, Arizona Cardinals.
Well, I like the colors, and so they're okay. They're nothing great. They're okay.
I like the color scheme, but it seems like they just don't do much.
Yeah, it's plain, pretty plain.
Woo! That was a close horse race. Let me tell you.
Well,
He got headed at the top of the stretch and fought back.
Well, that's good.
I've been distracted ever since that happened. But yeah, the Rams 2000 jerseys weren't. I disagree. I liked them kind of.
I didn't. I just never did.
Yeah,
but
yeah, Kevin. It was close. He got headed at the top stretch and then came back. So
that's good.
All right. Well,
I got one more.
Okay, it's got to be quick.
It's going to be.
Okay.
This is a really good question.
Okay.
2 athletic positions. Okay, here you go.
Okay.
What's more important, quarterback or pitcher?
Oh, God. What is more important, a quarterback or a pitcher?
This is hard to choose. I don't think you can.
Oh. A pitcher.
Well, you can go either way.
No, I think it's a pitcher. I think the pitcher is the best answer.
The thing about the pitcher, he controls the entire
everything.
Yeah.
Like if a pitcher is no good, you are helpless. If a quarterback is no good, you can do things to disguise that.
Right. But you're not going to win big.
Now, okay, hold on. We're talking about not a specific pitcher.
No.
We're talking about what is more important to win, like to win a game, right?
The position.
Right. The position, not an individual.
Right.
Right. So, like, if you have a bad pitcher or a bad quarterback, what's going to hurt you the most? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I think it's a pitcher.
Yeah. And what he's saying, he thought we meant a single pitcher that only goes every 5 days.
Right. And that's it. His answer is correct if you're talking about a single person. But we're just talking about in general. If you enter a game with a bad pitcher or a bad quarterback, what is worse? I think it's a pitcher.
That's a good answer. I mean, it's debatable either way. Can you think of another position in any sport that's as important as a pitcher or a quarterback?
No, because okay, say you have a horrible quarterback. If he can take a snap, you can run the ball, with a running back. And if you have a good back and a good line, your quarterback, even if he's bad, you can still move the ball some. The pitcher, if the pitcher is bad and can't get anybody out, or let's say he can't even throw strikes, nothing else on the field can function.
No.
Like if you've got a great infield, but the pitcher can't throw strikes, you can't utilize your other players on the field. Right. Where a quarterback, you still have players that you can utilize without a quarterback.
The only other sport where I can think of another position that's very, very important would be soccer or hockey
with goalies.
Goalie.
Yeah.
Can control the whole game.
A goalie can, for sure. I would rank a goalie second behind a pitcher. Yeah. And then I would rank a quarterback third.
Okay. And really, in basketball, there is no position that's dominant.
Well, Jesse said a point guard because if you can't get the ball.
I did think about a point guard, Jesse. I did.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're as important as a goalie or a pitcher or a quarterback.
If you don't have a great point guard, if you've got enough around them, you've got guys that could help in that position. Yeah, I mean, with a goalie, you've got guys that can help and limit shots, but you're still going to give up some shots. The goalie's going to have to make saves during the course of a game.
Yeah, and to emphasize your point or to verify it, when the Atlanta Braves got good back in the 90s, what did they do? They had fantastic pitchers. and they
Right.
suddenly became a good team.
Yeah.
Because
What a great pitcher or a great quarterback or a great goalie will do is cover a lot of problems that you have on a team. Like if you can't field or you can't hit, it doesn't matter because the pitcher can control things. A quarterback, we've seen it at OU, a quarterback will cover a lot of problems.
it does. We've seen it this year.
Well, yeah, true.
But when the Braves got good, they had solid starting pitching. And every day they ran out there, they didn't have to score a lot of runs to win.
Right.
The pitcher shut them down. And if when you see a team start to get good, come out of nowhere, look at the pitching staff. And that's usually what's happened. They've accumulated pitching.
Yep.
And you still need to score some runs, obviously, but pitchers can keep you in games.
Yep.
And give yourself a chance. Anyway.
All right. Pick 5 hit at Keeneland as well. Hit both these pick 5s to start off at Aqueduct.
You just turn off this thing now. You're done for the day.
It's unbelievable. I don't need
Did that one pay?
This one, let's see. What did it's about $6.50? No, $6.25. $6.25.
How much bet was the bet?
$96.
All right.
Yep. There you go. I'm on fire right now.
You are. You're rolling. You don't want to peak too soon. You got the Breeders' Cup next weekend.
I feel like I've peaked too soon.
It's not a good sign. It's not a good omen.
They had a pick 5 yesterday at Belmont at Keeneland for 1,000, and then I hit this pick 5 for 600.
This
one at Belmont for 500. The show, of course, hit.
This is not good. It's not good. I hate to tell you this. This is not good.
Woo. It's gonna be bad.
Oh, well, you still got a week. You can cool off in the next few days.
This is true. Cool off this weekend, get hot next weekend.
There you go.
All right. We're going to get out of here, guys. We got a lot to go.
Thank you.
Magic Mike coming up in 2 hours. Blinkers off. I think it's going to be a little bit after that. So that's it for us. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And hopefully, like I said, we don't go in a slump, Jason.
Yeah.
I don't plan on it. Now, here's this. A lot of the handicapping for the Breeders' Cup I'm doing right now while I'm hot.
Good job.
So there you go.
You'll be more confident when you're hot.
There you go. All right, guys, we're going to get off here. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And we will see you for Magic Mike right back here at 4:30. See you guys.
This is Dude to Bet Sports. Dude to Bet Sports, it's your favorite show. Dude to Bet Sports, where degenerates go. Dude to Bet Sports, time to change your approach with Aaron Holderman and his father, the coach. Let's ride.
Well, the Associated Press is full of shit.